The third generation Audi SQ5 packs a 367 PS petrol power plant into the brand's rejuvenated take on what a premium mid-sized sporting SUV should be. It's not the fastest contender of its kind, but it might arguably be the most complete one, and it brings a welcome shot of sparkle to the Q5 lineup. My name is Jonathan Crouch. I've been testing cars for over 40 years. You'll find them all on the Car and Driving Car Reviews app. Here, I'm going to try and tell you everything that you really need to know about this car in a way that you'll find nowhere else. Let me hand you over to our presenter, Colin.
Audi's third generation SQ5 switches to petrol power. Here, we'll take a closer look. Think of the first two generations of the Audi SQ5 if you ever do, and the memory will be of an uber-fast diesel-powered sporting SUV. In many ways, the perfect family Q car, an under-the-radar sporting mid-sized premium crossover we've always really liked. So, what of this third generation model launched late in 2024? Well, it's now petrol powered, so that's a key difference, though Audi hopes its latest 48-volt mild hybrid tech will ease loyal SQ5 customers into that transition. Actually, the old SQ5 was briefly petrol powered before, in 2018, when the second generation model was first launched, 5 years after the original. Now, this Audi drinks from the green pump again. But there's also lots else to tell you. You can find out more about this kind of model by downloading the Car and Driving app. And if you're interested specifically in this SQ5, in either this SUV form or its alternative sportback guise, stay with us for the industry's most comprehensive review, the Car and Driving Road Test. The ordinary Q5 isn't often sold to customers of premium upper mid-sized SUVs who prioritise an involving driving experience. So this SQ5 has quite a job on its hands to convince buyers that it's a real alternative to, say, a BMW X3 M50 xDrive or a Mercedes-AMG GLC 43 4MATIC in this class, especially as those two competitors are more powerful. Well, it is. True, if you've owned an SQ5 before, there's stuff you're going to have to get used to. Primarily the fact that the 550 Nm torque figure of this Mark III model's new 3-litre petrol V6 is way down on the 700 Nm figure of its 3-litre V6 TDI diesel predecessor. But power is up from 341 to 367 PS, and of course the pleasingly urgent engine sound is vastly better. It's faster too. The 0 to 62 mph sprint time of 4.5 seconds is 0.6 seconds faster than the previous TDI. Top speed is still limited to 155 mph. It goes without saying in an SQ5 that there's quattro four-wheel drive and 7-speed dual-clutch S-tronic auto transmission. What's new, as with every third-generation Q5, is that it all sits on completely different underpinnings. The brand's latest PPC, or premium platform combustion chassis. To try and compensate folk who might be miffed by the switch from the old diesel unit, Audi's decided to fit this Mark III model's 3-litre TFSI petrol power plant with its latest MHEV Plus mild hybrid system. Mild hybrid tech on Audis is of course nothing new, but this setup's different from anything the brand's used before, in that, as well as the usual system integrated starter generator, there's also a second centrally mounted powertrain generator. The result is dramatically increased levels of regenerative braking and consequently a bit more of a positive impact on efficiency. As for drive dynamics, well, these are usually fundamentally good with fast Audis, but normally let down by the kind of vague, uninvolving steering that we found when we tried an ordinary third generation Q5 a few weeks ago. In this SQ5, the helm's been tuned to tell you a little bit more about what the front wheels are doing, but an enthusiast would probably still want more. What lets the side down, though, is the intrusive lane keeping assist system, which always defaults to on whenever you start the car, and roughly and often unnecessarily intrudes frequently in a way that really is unwelcome. Audi needs to rework this system as a priority. What you can't complain about is something that's fitted here but is lacking on the two rival models I mentioned earlier, adaptive air suspension. You'll find this S adaptive setup very impressive indeed as you scroll through the now more clearly differentiated Audi Drive Select settings that influence it: comfort, dynamic, balanced, efficiency and off-road. In comfort, it's a perfect partner for our nation's pock-marked tarmac, which is just as well, given the firm ride you'd otherwise get with this variant's larger 21-inch wheels. Yet, in dynamic, it makes the car as firm and responsive as you could want. If you need a unique SQ5 selling point, and we could understand why you might, then without doubt, this is it. For a long journey over fast and possibly slippery secondary roads, this would be the car we'd choose in this class, no question. The Audi Sport engineers really have done a fine job here. That creamy V6 is a real weapon, sounds great and goes well, plus traction's always great, and the dual clutch gear shift is responsively smooth. All of this, combined with that exemplary damping setup, has created a better driver's car than the SQ5 has ever been before. Audi says this third generation Q5 has become even sportier, and that obviously suits this SQ5 model, whether you order it in sportback form or this SUV guise. From the side, there's little to set this top SQ5 apart from lesser versions, unless you happen to notice the B-pillar badging and the bespoke 21-inch wheels with their red calipers. This variant comes with Audi's Black Styling Package Plus, which means the use of that colour for the roof rails and the door mirrors. Does anyone else remember when the default colour for Audi S model door mirrors was silver grey? It used to set the brand's sporting variants apart. If you want to replicate that, you can pay extra to have the mirrors finished in carbon fibre. At the front, there are the usual S model touches. Otherwise, it's like any other third generation Q5, which means big front corner cutouts and a wide gloss black single frame grille flanked by vertical air curtains, and focus-looking LED headlights which incorporate intelligent matrix technology. At the rear, there's a subtle spoiler and a bespoke bumper incorporating two pairs of potent-looking round tailpipes. This launch model showcases the brand's latest OLED lighting tech, which offers entry animations and proactive features to warn following motorists. As usual, of course, what's more important is what you can't see. In this case, the more electrified, premium platform combustion underpinnings that mark out this new era model. Time to take a look inside. Now, there aren't any pop-out door handles to greet you as you approach. That wouldn't be very Audi, but the concealed touch buttons under the handles really are. And included here is a digital key feature that'll allow you to unlock your car with a smartphone. Let's take a seat behind the wheel. Well, it's nice, isn't it? With lots of expensive-looking technology surrounding all the new digital stage screen tech. But for this kind of spend, it really shouldn't be this hard to identify the differences that set this SQ5 apart from lesser variants in the Q5 portfolio. The fact that there's hardly anything added, eventually we found a lap timer buried in the new instrument screen, is masked by the plushness of the Edition 1 trim level that Audi insisted this top model had to have from launch. And that gets you these lovely diamond quilted Napa leather sports seats that heat, cool and massage you, plus niceties like a dash top dynamic interaction light, a head-up display, a 10.9-inch MMI front passenger touch display, a 3D Bang & Olufsen premium sound system and a suede-style Dynamica door trimming. Enjoy all of this. If you've coughed up around £80,000 for one of these, hopefully it'll distract you from the steering wheel's rather cheap-feeling paddle shifters and fiddly touch-sensitive buttons, and the wide swathe of glossy piano black plastic that surrounds the EV-style gear selector and the unlidded cup holders on the centre console. Why are car brands so attracted to this kind of shiny surfacing? It's very easy to scratch and smudge, and you're constantly having to wipe it for dust. It even features on this little square smart door panel, to which for some reason the lighting switches have been relocated. Overall, the quality of materials used around this interior, like the edges to the lower centre console or this indented mid-level fascia covering, just doesn't feel as class-leading and special as previous Audi cabins used to. Earlier, we mentioned the instrument display, the conventional sighting of which we suppose we should be thankful for as an alternative to having everything crammed in, Tesla-like, on some enormous central monitor in the middle of the dashboard. There is a bit of Tesla-style tech here, though, in the virtual central display that above a digital speed readout shows other vehicles around you as you drive. If you're used to the old Audi virtual cockpit style of screen dial design, you'll find this Audi Virtual Cockpit Plus OLED display a bit different. It certainly doesn't feel quite as configurable as the old setup. It can no longer show nav mapping, for instance. All you can do is vary what you see in boxes that flank the central graphic. The one on the left shows trip data. The one on the right is for nav instructions, audio selections or phone settings. Everything else you'll need is on this high-resolution MMI Navigation Plus centre screen display. This OLED Android Automotive OS-based setup is a product of the brand's newly developed electronic architecture E3 tech, which is supposed to allow customers to experience vehicle digitalisation more directly than was ever possible in an Audi before. Much of this 14.5-inch screen's real estate is taken up by permanently displaying functions, climate controls along the bottom, and 2 rows of shortcut features to the right. You can decide how to populate the rest of the space. We've got radio settings and mapping for the 3D navigation system here. Swipe left for an analog clock, drive select settings and phone functions. And we're thankful for a physical volume control too. Drill down into what's on offer with this curved monitor, and it's all very advanced. You get wondrous graphics, and there's a self-learning Audi voice assistant used to control numerous vehicle functions, which understands more than 800 voice commands. Plus, there's Alexa functionality, regular over-the-air updates, a wireless smartphone interface, and a store section that gives customers access to a wide range of apps. This is basically a new era of infotainment provision with features like a web browser that could, for instance, allow your passenger to reserve a hotel room for you through booking.com as you drive to your destination, all through the touchscreen. As mentioned earlier, your Q5 can feature this third 10.9-inch screen in front of the passenger. A nice thing to have, perhaps if someone else is paying, but a feature you might struggle to see the point of. You might like the fact that you can add apps to it, like Amazon Music or YouTube, so films can be watched by the passenger on a long trip. But there are no climate controls, and pretty much all the stuff on this extra monitor is duplicated by the centre screen. Forward visibility is good, but your rear view is slightly obscured by the headrests at the back and the small tailgate screen, so you'll need the standard rear view camera and sensors. As for practicality, well, there's a big glove box, but small door bins. This shallow illuminated box between the seats has a ratcheting top that acts as an armrest, and there's an open area where the centre console meets the dashboard, including a wireless phone mat near a 12-volt socket. Twin USB ports are nearby too, but they're both USB-C, so you may have to use an unsightly converter lead. Now, you might expect a 4.7-metre SUV to be quite spacious in the rear. And this third generation design has 10mm more wheelbase length than its predecessor, which along with the wide opening door would make it a little easier for, say, a parent to lean in and attach a child's seat. Once you get inside, though there's plenty of space to slide your feet beneath the seats, knee room isn't that great, so it's just as well that this back seat still has a sliding base, which along with the reclining backrest is part of Audi's rear bench seat plus arrangement. As for ceiling space, well, this is where you get the benefit of choosing your SQ5 with this SUV body style rather than the alternative Sportback version. This more conventional SUV variant has 80mm more headroom. As for fitting someone in the middle, well, for the most part, you can forget about it. Even if we weren't in this current era of flat floor EVs, this central transmission tunnel would still seem ridiculously high. We can't see how you'd fit a central seated occupant in unless they were of school age. Despite these rear quarter-light windows, it would feel a bit dark in here if it weren't for the panoramic glass sunroof, a standard SQ5 fitment. All the usual more common provisions feature netted seatback pockets, twin USB-C ports, rear climate controls and vents, decent door bins and an armrest with cup holders. We'll finish, as usual, with a look in the rear. Now, the powered tailgate here rises to reveal a bit less boot space than you'd normally get in a conventionally engined Q5. 475 litres in this SQ5 SUV model, as opposed to the usual 520 litre figure. With the SQ5 Sportback, it'd be 470 litres. Both figures are down on the class norm. For reference, a rival BMW X3 M50 has a 570 litre boot. A Mercedes-AMG GLC 43 has 620 litres of capacity. Still, it's a sensibly sized space, accessed over this slightly impractical silver-coloured loading lip. Recesses either side mean things like golf bags can easily be stowed widthwise. There's a deep well beneath the floor where the optional stowage nets can sit, and you get a netted area on the left, 4 floor tie-downs, an elasticated strap also on the left, a bag hook on the right, and a useful inner tailgate light for nighttime loading. As part of this SQ5 model's adaptive air suspension package, you get these useful little switches here on the left to lower the load height to more easily lug in heavy loads. If you need more space, it's surprising just how much you can fit in back here. If you slide the rear bench right forward and put the rear backrest in a more upright position. As with every Q5, that backrest is conveniently split 40-20-40, so you can fold down its middle section for the carriage of long items like skis. If you need to flatten everything, you can do so via these cargo sidewall catches and create up to 1,446 litres of space with this SQ5 SUV. 27 litres less than normal, which is 58 litres more than the equivalent Sportback version. At the time of this test in autumn 2025, Audi was only offering this SQ5 in this top Edition 1 form, priced from around £77,000 in this SUV guise. The alternative SQ5 Sportback variant attracts a £2,500 premium. You'll want some value perspective on that. Well, making this 367 PS Audi available only in this fully loaded Edition 1 form skews its value proposition somewhat, making it pricier than both its two-segment arch rivals, which is unfortunate because both of those offer significantly more power. BMW's X3 M50, which has 403 PS, was priced at around £71,000 as we filmed. If you're prepared to sacrifice a bit on this Audi's plush level of trim, much the same kind of spend that would be needed for an SQ5 Edition 1 would also get you a Mercedes-AMG GLC 43 4MATIC, which has 427 PS. If, having considered all of that, you still conclude that it is this Audi that you really want, then you're going to need to know just how generous Audi's been with standard spec. So let's take a look at that now. Specific SQ5 features include 21-inch multi-spoke Audi Sport alloy wheels with red calipers, S-adaptive air suspension, special S exterior styling, and Audi's Black Styling Package Plus, which means the use of that colour for the exterior mirrors and roof rails. On top of that, Edition 1 features include matrix LED headlamps with active digital light signatures, digital OLED taillights, a switchable transparency panoramic sunroof, and a digital key system that'll allow you to lock and start the car with your phone. Inside with SQ5 Edition 1 trim, you get fine Nappa quilted, leather upholstered, power adjustable sports front seats with ventilation and a massage function, and that upholstery features steel grey stitching and can be finished in either the usual black or, rather more interestingly as here, in Arras red. There's also Dynamica cabin trim, 4-zone climate control, a heated power adjustable bespoke steering wheel, and the brand's ambient lighting package plus with its dashtop dynamic interaction light. Plus you get a head-up display rear seat heating, a 10.9-inch MMI front passenger touch display, and a 3D Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. That's in addition to more usual Q5 features like rear privacy glass, high beam assist, an acoustic windscreen, a powered tailgate, an anti-theft alarm, progressive steering, adaptive cruise control, Audi Drive select modes, and a Park Assist Plus system that automatically steers you into tight spaces. Other nice touches include an efficiency assist system that uses GPS data to tailor the car's speed for turns and junctions, and systems that adapt your speed to prevailing limits and the road ahead. Familiar Q5 interior features include wireless charging for 2 phone handsets, a rear view camera with a 360-degree parking system plus display, and the rear seat bench plus sliding and reclining bench. You also get stainless steel pedals, a black cloth headliner, S-branded door trims, matte, brushed aluminium interior inlays, and an 11.9-inch Audi Virtual Cockpit Plus OLED instrument screen. Infotainment's covered off by a 14.5-inch MMI Navigation Plus high-res OLED centre monitor with 3D mapping, Audi Assistant 2 voice control, and 3-year subscription for the many Audi Connect navigation and infotainment services, which include the Audi application store and screen themes. What about options? Well, you wouldn't expect there to be many with Edition 1 trim, but if you really must, then you can add carbon-trimmed door mirrors and upgrade your SQ5's interior with carbon micro twill structure inlays and the dark accents of a vanadium interior pack. There's an alternative wheel design too. We've got it here with these 5-arm split black metallic gloss-turned rims. Bear in mind that unless you order the SQ5 with the only standard colour, solid Arcona white, then you'll need to budget at least £725 more for your choice of paint colour. We've got metallic Daytona grey here. As usual with the Q5, practical extras include a retractable tow bar and roof rails, which you'll need, of course, for the roof crossbars necessary for things like a roof box or ski rack. On to safety. Now, all the usual camera, driver assistance safety systems you'd expect are, of course, included. In this case, that means front emergency brake assist, lane departure warning, front cross traffic intersection assist, swerve assist, and front turn assist, an advanced driver attention and fatigue monitor, and traffic sign recognition that facilitates an intelligent speed limiter with speed warning. You also get distraction and distance warning, and even a traffic light information feature that enables the car to tailor its speed to forthcoming sets of urban traffic lights. But you'd want more than that given the amount of money being asked here. So with an SQ5 Edition 1, Audi also includes an emergency assist system that will bring the car to a controlled stop if you get taken ill at the wheel, along with rear cross traffic assist, rear turn assist, and lane change assistance. There are also 3 features Audi really ought to have standardised across the Q5 range: an exit warning system that prevents occupants opening their doors into the face of oncoming traffic, occupant detection in the rear seat area, and side assist blind spot detection. This top level of spec also includes proactive passenger protection systems for front, sides and rear, and a higher standard of airbag protection with side airbags in the front and rear, a head bag system and a front interaction airbag. The SQ5's MHEV Plus mild hybrid system cuts the engine at parking speeds and in traffic to give the rather pleasant illusion that this 367 PS 3-litre 6-cylinder super SUV is planet friendly. It's not. The official figures for this SUV version are up to 34.1 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 188 grams per kilometre of CO2. It's 34.7 mpg and 187 grams per kilometre for the Sportback version. Based on this test, you're going to need to keep the drive select mode pinned to efficiency pretty much all the time if you're to get anywhere near to 30 miles per gallon on any sort of regular basis. And even if you do, you're still not going to be able to approach the return of a rival and more powerful BMW X3 M50, which manages up to 36.7 mpg and 175 grams per kilometre. Both the X3 and the SQ5 easily beat the readings of the only other really credible contender in this class, the Mercedes AMG GLC 43 4MATIC, which can manage only 27.2 mpg and 236 grams per kilometre. In our main Q5 film, we told you more about how Audi's MHEV Plus mild hybrid system works. It adds a clever powertrain generator, the PTG, which can feed up to 24 PS of electric power to the output of the combustion engine. When decelerating, the PTG feeds energy back into the battery at up to 25 kilowatts. As a result, purely electric manoeuvring and parking are possible, as well as dramatically increased levels of regenerative braking. As usual with these things, it all sounds very good until you drill right down into the figures. Anyway, what else might you need to know? Well, residual values should be pretty strong. Expect 54 to 55% of original value to be retained after the industry standard 3-year or 36,000 mile period. But Audi isn't particularly generous with its vehicle warranty. Like with BMW and Mercedes, it's a 3-year policy, but unlike those other brands, Audi caps it at just 60,000 miles. You can extend that cover to 4 years, or 75,000 miles, or 5 years and 90,000 miles at extra cost. Quite a lot of extra cost, actually, over £600 for 4 years, and 75,000 miles, or over £1,400 for that 5-year, 90,000 mile package. As usual with Audi models, there's a choice of either a fixed or flexible servicing regime, the choice between the two, depending on the extent of your likely annual mileage. The fixed schedule is aimed at drivers covering fewer than 10,000 miles a year and includes an oil change service every 9,000 miles or every year, plus an inspection service every 19,000 miles or every 2 years. If you cover more than 10,000 miles per year, the flexible service schedule will be more appropriate, as this regime includes oil change and inspection services at variable intervals of up to every 19,000 miles or every 2 years. The insurance rating is up at Group 45 for this SQ5. At first glance, and perhaps after a first drive, you might wonder why you'd ever choose this third generation SQ5 over its two talented class rivals from BMW and Mercedes. Those two competitors have more power, they make more of a pavement statement, and from this Audi's launch, at least they were also slightly cheaper than this Ingolstadt model. You might also wish that this SQ5 had been differentiated from its cheaper Q5 range siblings a little more. But as we found with previous generation SQ5s, if you live with this Audi and pile on the miles in it, positive attributes begin to shine through. Chief amongst these is the class-leading air suspension system, which you don't get and can't have with either an M50 or a GLC 43. Now, whether you want a comfortable cosseting ride or a sporty engaging one, it'll oblige, and is perfect for poorly surfaced UK roads. And yes, that really would sell us on this car. As for that power deficit over rivals, well, you simply won't notice it. With 367 PS under your right foot, you're never short of forward thrust, and with a generous 550 newton meters of torque on tap, overtaking is almost instant. So lots to like then, even if you don't happen to get on with the new cabin design or the meaner look. We can still see why you might have preferred this car better in previous diesel guises, but sadly perhaps the days of diesel high-performance SUVs are now behind us, and what we've been given instead on the evidence of this SQ5 at least might have longer-lasting charms.